You're listening to the Certified Personal Trainer Podcast, a show by personal trainers for personal trainers. It's time to become a better trainer, get more clients, and change more lives.
All right. Hello. Welcome in. Perfect. I see some people making their way in.
Hope everyone's having a good week. If you guys want to just hop into the chat and let us know where you're viewing from. I am viewing from North Carolina. It's finally cooling down a little bit. By cooling down, I mean it's 85 instead of 100. Miguel, where are you viewing from?
I'm from Long Island, New York today. It's actually really beautiful out. This morning I woke up. I don't know if anyone else is having a little bit of a crisis, but it's the middle of September. But I woke up today and I spent some time outside and it was absolutely beautiful. I'm loving the change in weather now.
So nice. Pat, where are you viewing from?
I'm up in the Sequoia National Forest in California.
Nice. Well, today, guys, we are going to be talking about sales and marketing for personal trainers. I'm super excited for us to kind of collaborate today. It's super exciting. We haven't touched on this topic in a hot minute. We've been really focused on like the sales side of things. And I know last week we got into nutrition. So I did want to talk a little bit today about kind of marketing yourself and how we can go about that and the nitty gritty of all that.
I will just say before we hop into this, sales and marketing is something that in the very competitive landscape of personal training, if you haven't learned already, is something that you kind of need to tap into. So if you have questions throughout, add them in the chat at any moment. We're always here to answer them. But also if there's anything specific maybe that we're touching on today that really speaks to you, always feel free in the middle of our conversation to drop them in there. Coach Pat is really good about staying live in that chat, answering questions, but we will frequently touch back and get to you guys. So we enjoy the conversation.
All right, y'all. Well, let's get started. Something you guys probably have seen here before is that we always just want to let you guys know that there are no universal bests, especially on today's topic. It is just one of those things. I think a lot of times our personal trainers that have been in the industry for a while, they kind of know where they fall on the, I'm a really big into social media, or I'm really big into, just using my website to market myself, or I'm really big into only kind of marketing myself in person, right? But really for you guys starting out in the personal training industry, we want you guys to focus on, there's no best answer, right? There's all really great answers, but there's not one that is going to be the best. And it's really going to come down to kind of coming to these webinars and doing your research and getting to know all of these different options for you out there to figure out what's best for you, right? That's really the key here. It's exactly like personal training, honestly. I would say like your marketing and sales tactics are exactly like how you would program for yourself, right? You're not going to program high intensity CrossFit workouts if you are recovering from a bunch of injuries and hate HIIT, right? You're not going to program that for yourself. Similar to myself, and I feel like I sound like a broken record, but we always have new people coming into these webinars. So I just want to say it. Everyone knows here at Fitness Mentors, I am not the biggest social media girl, but I do know the power of it. So even though I'm not going to utilize just social media for my personal business, I'm going to spread the awareness and word of how powerful social media is to you all because it's excellent. And if it works for you, it works for you. So just remember that as we go throughout this webinar and all of our webinars. If it works for you, we love that. If it works for your niche, we love that. If it makes you happy, we love that, right? Anything that's going to stick and create longevity for your career and your marketing and sales tactics and tools and regimen, we want that to stick, right? Like I said, it's exactly like programming. If you program a workout that your clients like or enjoy, they're probably going to stick with it. That's exactly how I feel about marketing. That's exactly how I feel about sales, right? You want to do something that's going to work for you. Second point here, engagement, marketing, and selling expand beyond strategies and the do's and don'ts, the powers and the principles. You have to determine which type of engagement, marketing, and sales process is best suited for you. So similar to what I just said, but the powers and the principles. If you guys kind of don't hear something mentioned today that you've been thinking about, that you've been wanting to ask us about with marketing or sales, feel free to hop in the chat and ask us questions. Just because it's not in today's presentation doesn't mean that we can't chat about it on today's presentation. Here at Fitness Mentors, we love the idea of collaboration, right? We want to hear from you guys. Just because we are the people behind the screen does not mean we have all the answers. We learn from you guys every single day. I just had a mentorship call at 1 o'clock, and I absolutely learned from the client that I was on the phone with. She's currently developing a business in teaching physical education to youth, and it's absolutely excellent. And I learned a lot that I didn't know, right? So we're always learning, and we love the idea of conversation and collaboration in this chat. So please feel free to hop on in there. If you guys are dealing with anything at work, if you have a crappy situation going on with the gym that you work at, we are here to help. But yeah, Miguel, you want to add anything in before we continue?
These are two really great points, and you'll see, I will jump to our next slide, but I will still be talking about some key perspectives. Today, we'll be talking about some marketing strategies, ways that you can do that. We have 8 that we'll just mention today, but 3 of them we're going to dive deep into. But back to our key perspectives, as we mentioned, the power is in the principles. And by that, we just mean like, these are just boxes to check. We will talk specifically about social media, referral programs, and unique selling propositions. But this expands to all different kinds of client acquisition and marketing tactics, right? So we're not just limited to these. And also, it's all trial and error. That's something I want to make very clear. Trial and error will be your best friend. Don't be afraid about different approaches. If there's 3 that we talked to you today and none of those work for you, that's totally fine. There are many more out there. Double down on what works for you, throw away what doesn't. But remember, the goal is to get clients, not likes, specifically when we're talking about like social media and stuff, right? So we're just going to avoid any vanity metrics when it comes to marketing and sales, right? We want to make sure that we separate our goals from like what's really happening here. So that's where we're going to use these different strategies today. So let's hop into it, right?
Awesome. So personal training marketing ideas to get more clients. So marketing should be a top priority, whether you're just starting out or you're trying to land your first client or you're a seasoned veteran, right? Wherever you guys are in your process, marketing should always be at the top of your brain. Okay. So whether or not you have it scheduled on your calendar every day to focus on some marketing, whether or not every week you create all your posts for social media, whether or not you are developing an email ad for marketing, right? Whatever that is, it should be a top priority. That's just what it is. By choosing a few of these marketing ideas that we're going to speak about and spending some time, like I said, every day, every week, whatever it is, you are going to be on track to landing more clients. In general, guys, marketing is spreading the word. That's what it is, right? We're trying to spread the word of what you have to offer. And with this, remember today, as we go through this list and as we go throughout this webinar, the goal here is to market yourself, market your brand. But how are we going to do that and stand out? How are we going to let our audience and our niches know that what we have to offer is excellent, but it's also different, right? So what is it going to be? What are we going to bring to the table that's different from others? Coach Miguel, you want to go through this list with them?
Yeah, right here we just put together a few different ways. There are countless ways that you can market yourself and put yourself out there. As Sam just said, it's really just getting the word out, right? So fitness marketing in general makes your business stand out and get noticed. We live in a very saturated world, not just within our own little industry here as personal trainers, right? But seemingly everything that we do online too, on social media, with websites, through Google, it's a saturated world. It's very competitive. So this is how we get ourselves out there. We also will talk briefly about referral programs, which is more of word of mouth. However, just quickly, we'll run through these. We have writing for industry blogs to build ethos. This is something that I think a lot of trainers don't think about, but I've added it here because you're able to build ethos, which is really important, right? But drive people back to your site, to you. Many, especially if there's local directories or little sites within your area, if you're an in-person trainer, this is really great to get your word out there, right? Two, we have build an email list. This is just a great way. I feel like all trainers should be utilizing this. If you have a website or social media pages, there should be access to some sort of newsletter or email list that you have, whether it's something that you do weekly, monthly, or as you see fit. That's one of our immediate ways to get your name into someone's inbox. So that's one way. Engaging with clients on social media. As Coach Sam said, she is not the biggest social media junkie, but there is so much value in it. Every trainer should at least think about it and really think about it, because the scope that we live in this world, it's really competitive. So we're actually going to dive deep into that one because we've highlighted it. Our next one we'll also dive a little bit deeper into, which is a customer referral program. We talk about this a lot at Fitness Mentors. We talk about this in our business and sales mentorship, the power of referrals and testimonials. So we'll talk about that. As I mentioned, personal training directories. This is so good. It kind of where like you meet the moment, meet where you are. You can get listed on local sites and directories. So smart marketing is really all about finding potential customers wherever you can and being visible. So getting listed anywhere and everywhere for prospective customers and clients is an important step for local fitness businesses, especially if you're one of those. Not only does it ensure more visibility in front of people who are actively searching for you. That's the thing about getting listed on these directories. If your name pops up in someone who's searching for a personal trainer, they're actively looking. So if we ever talk about leads here at Fitness Mentors and whether they're cold, they're warm, that's a hot lead. Yeah. Someone who's on a directory looking for someone. So getting listed on local sites is so important when it comes to growing and managing your fitness business. There's a lot to keep track of there, but something to consider. Utilizing testimonials on your site, social media, and emails. Another great way. We'll talk a little bit about those today with our referral programs. 7 here, we have create an effective, unique selling proposition. We recently spoke about this actually on one of our Fitness Mentor sales training and mentorship program. We had a really great call about it. So I'm excited to share more about that. That's something that I will nerd out about. And then 8 is just networking at local fitness events. So if there's any events that are local near you that you can get to, make sure that you're there. Not only, see, this is more so for cross-referencing with like other trainers or professionals in the industry. You might not find clients there, but getting your name out there, meeting other personal trainers, or maybe if your expertise is in personal training, maybe finding a nutritionist that you can create great rapport with, because this is where cross-referencing will be great. If a nutritionist is working with a client who needs fitness help, they know who to turn to, right? So there's different ways to market and be strategic, and we're going to dive into a few of them today. So let's hop over into this first one, social media. As I mentioned, wonderful tool. Many trainers probably don't utilize it in a way that they should. As we mentioned, there is no universal best. So social media, you can utilize it in the best way possible for you. It's different for everyone. However, this one is really going to be where you'll find a lot of trial and error. It will be your best friend. So don't be afraid to try new approaches and double down on things that work for you, and things that don't work for you, that's totally fine. One thing I'll say before we hop into this on social media, this is where I had mentioned earlier, we're really going to try and avoid vanity metrics such as likes. They don't measure your success. The value that comes from social media marketing is the turnover of leads to clients, right? So that's something you want to keep track of when you're utilizing social media as a very, very important engagement tool. So I have here that social media should drive clients to up-to-date website, applications, opt-in forms, free services, and pages. Your social media is absolutely a business card. A lot of the times for many trainers, right? You are showcasing photos, testimonials, videos of you working with clients, videos of your clients working out, success stories, but also you're sharing all these up-to-date websites, applications, and forms. This is so important. So make sure that's something that you utilize often in your bio or even sharing in your post if you update links. Make sure that they're up to date. That is so important. So next we have the question of like, well, what platform should I use? That's something that many people, it's probably your first question, right? You're like, great, social media is awesome, but like, what do I do? So they're all very different. You want to choose one that absolutely fits your strengths, your weaknesses, your preferences. And specifically, if you have a niche clientele that you work with, one that works for them, right? So I have here Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok / YouTube. They all are focusing on somewhat of a different thing. Instagram, we're very visual. Images and videos are really great here for Instagram. Text is a secondary thing that people think about. Facebook is all about really strong, compelling text. It's a priority. People on Facebook actually read, whereas Instagram, people are scrolling, and if a photo catches their eye, that's what they click on, right? LinkedIn is a lot more professional. It's also text focused, but it's very business focused for professionals. Then TikTok and YouTube. YouTube is very much so for a lot more long form content. And as we know, our world is moving towards this short form, short attention span, just like quick, give me the details type of content. So that's where TikTok is great. However, as I mentioned, if you're working with a specific niche, you may find that they are gravitating towards different platforms. So that's something to consider. Choose the one, as I said, best suits your strengths, your weaknesses, but also those of the people you're trying to help. So let's talk briefly about this example here. So let's say you're a visual person, right? You love to be on camera and you've chosen to focus on Instagram. But how do you augment what you've posted on Instagram to fit other platforms? Because that's something that's also important. While I do say choose what suits your strengths, you want to also widen your net and your scope, because who knows where you'll get your next lead. So we'll be utilizing all of these platforms. So let's say you've posted an awesome picture on Instagram, you have a short caption. How do you syndicate all your content, but respect each platform and speak to that platform's users' desires, needs, wants, attention spans, right? So I have here for Facebook, we're just pulling those captions and making that caption the primary focus. We're gonna, whatever our main message is in that visual as well, we'll turn it into a headline, or maybe it's that first line of that caption in all caps, whatever have you. But once again, as I mentioned, Facebook is all about strong, compelling text. That is a higher priority for Facebook. Still attach those images, but make sure that whatever is following in those captions is thought out, thorough for those consumers. Next, we have TikTok. Turn those captions into 60-second videos. Once again, this is short form content. Make it compelling, make it, I don't know, a lot of times on TikTok, people get on their soapbox and they talk, but that's where you need to position yourself as an expert and utilize that space to your advantage. So we're gonna make sure we turn that caption to short form videos that grab users' attention. LinkedIn is also text focused, similar to Facebook. However, it's a lot more business focused for professionals. So you're going to take that Facebook post now that you've created this text focused post, and you're going to ask yourself, how does this apply to business professionals? And if your niche market is specifically business professionals, this is a great space for you to take all of your content and share it and network with these people. So social media is a really great tool. There's many different avenues and ways in which you can utilize it. And one of those biggest things is, well, which one do I use? What do I post? I shared how you can utilize each one, but let's talk briefly about what should you post. No matter what platform you're using, you should be posting the value that you provide to your clients, who you are as a professional, who you are as a person, and just your clients, some testimonials, their success stories. Those are also important. I will mention here as well. What should you post? One of our coaches here at Fitness Mentors a few months back had said something that struck a chord with myself. I know Coach Sam and all of our viewers at that time, so I'll share it again. There's something called depth posts and width posts. Depth posts are DEPTH, depth. Those are the posts that people get to know you. They get to know who you are as a person, who you are as a professional, what you do, who do you help, what are you passionate about outside of work, what are you accomplishing in your own fitness journey. Those are all depth posts that people who are following you on a consistent basis are getting to know you. It's all about engaging socially with these people on these platforms. And that's something that you're doing with depth posts. Then there's width posts, WIDTH, which when you think about width, you're thinking of like a wider scope, left to right, right? So these are the posts that will probably attract a lot of your newer clients, newer leads. These are posts that are going to be those testimonial posts that I mentioned, as well as the value that you provide your clients and your niche market if you have one. So consider that as well. Not only what platforms you're choosing to post on, but what are you actually posting? Be strategic about, is this something for my existing followers and clients where they're getting to learn more about me, the value that I provide, and my own personal goals? Or is this a with post that is truly just about client testimonials showcasing who I am as a trainer only? So that's something to consider. Social media is an incredible tool, but oftentimes we get lost in those questions of, well, what should I post, or where should I post? So hopefully that's some insight. Coach Sam, anything here about social media that maybe you have learned yourself, have found valuable?
Yeah, I definitely. So there's so many people that will tell you all such different things. So I do think this is such a get into your groove type of topic. I love social media for people and for other parts of my life. I just know personally I liked spreading the word for my business in other ways, but that's because my niche honestly isn't really that big into social media, right? So that's just why I personally was like, oh, it's not needed for my personal training business the way that it may be for Coach Miguel or some of our clients here, fitness mentors who are, trying to reach the age group of 18-year-olds to 26-year-olds who are on TikTok, right? It really is going to depend on who you're focused on reaching and grabbing and in wanting their attention, right? And wanting their engagement. And so many people are going to tell you so many different things. To be honest with you all, I think the one, like the biggest thing I will say with social media, and this is just my personal opinion, take it or leave it. I think planning is key with social media because social media can become tedious. It is a full-time job. When people don't think that it is a full-time job, they are wrong. People that are making the money on TikTok, making the money on Instagram, being full-time influencers, they are posting 4 to 6 times a day, right? And with that, they're not posting random things. They are filming, they are putting on makeup, they are getting the equipment, they have an aesthetically pleasing living room, right? There is work behind this, right? So I really encourage you all to plan. If you are going to be a social media driven, or excuse me, social media heavy personal trainer, right? If that's like one of your main forms of marketing, plan it out. Because if you plan it out, if you take a day or two to be like, hey, I'm going to post these 6 things this week, I already have them filmed. All I have to do is clip them together and write a caption. If you plan these things out, it's going to be a lot more fun for you, right? It's going to be a lot more, you're going to be able to have some longevity, and it's going to be way more attainable for you to keep up with it. And just remember, I know Miguel, you touched on this, but I want to just, really elaborate. Social media was invented for engagement, right? So social media is not just to post. Social media is not just to show off, right? Those are what you should be doing. You should absolutely be letting people know about your product and your brand and how you serve the community. But engage, right? Anytime someone follows you, give them a DM. Anytime someone likes your post, message them, right? Marketing and sales go hand in hand for a reason. You, as a personal trainer, you run your business. You are your brand. So you are both sales and marketing. So every time you're marketing yourself, remember that it's an opportunity to let people know what you're selling, right? That's what it is. So engage, talk to people. That's what it was. That's why it was created. And that's only going to do you justice. That's only going to be a positive thing, and will have many positive outcomes.
Absolutely. And last thing about social media too, if you're one of our gym trainers, because we do have someone in our sales training and mentorship course who is solely a gym trainer, and she had asked the question of like, well, I see the value in social media, but like I work in a gym, my clientele isn't necessarily always on social media, or at least that's not how she's obtaining new leads, right? They're coming through those gym doors, or from the sales desk, they're being forwarded to her, right? So we advise her to like, okay, then don't utilize social media in that way. But maybe if an Instagram account that is just showcasing client wins and testimonials and building a community within your own little clientele book that you have, that's a great way to utilize it too. Because when you have new clients that are new to the gym that show up at your front desk, and they are asking about whatever specific goal it is that they have, and if you have a client that had the same goal, you worked with them, there's a success story, and you have it on like your social media, just like forward it to them without your phone and show them, be like, hey, I had someone who's just like you here, you can read their story. Because I know a lot of our gym trainers in person, you might not have a site just for your own training, right? Like you're working through this gym, but you are also a personal trainer who has worked with clients that have success stories, so you can utilize them in that way. There is a Q&A question that popped up, and I think it's a great segment into what we're going to talk about next. The question is, I'm going to say that we're answering this live. I specifically work with Christian fathers who might be struggling with obesity, lack of motivation, and or stuck in a time crunch that prevents them from fully committing to a fitness routine. Where should I post? I think
Yeah.
posting may be great. However, this referral system may be better for you. So maybe let's talk about this and then see if there's some unanswered questions, right?
Just before we get into referral marketing, I know Miguel talked about this with like TikTok and stuff, but anytime there's, and this is not to be, please, no one get offended by this. Like just with that question, I hear fathers, I know instantly they're probably like not on a lot on TikTok. And if they're on TikTok, they're scrolling, giggling. They're probably not wanting to post on TikTok, right? So like in general, like if you all are wanting to utilize social media, think about age. Think about who your audience is and how old are they? What are they doing, right? Christian fathers. Okay, so Facebook, like, right then and there, like with your question, just me hearing that, I instantaneously Facebook and groups, right? So whether or not your church has groups or whether or not you're speaking of Christian fathers, that's a general niche that you have, which is excellent. I love that. I would say like Facebook is like your main thing, and then email marketing, which I know we'll get into. And then Miguel is about to talk about referrals, which he knows. Well, Miguel and I both love referrals. So we'll get hyped on that. But we will talk about that right now. But I just wanted to add in like that definitely seems like a Facebook and Facebook group type niche. Miguel, I don't know if you would agree, but yeah.
Absolutely. Especially what you had just said about Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Search on Facebook. Maybe there's a specific group for that literally has all of your clientele that you could possibly work with. Especially if you're working with them online. I'm not sure if you're working online or in person. If you're working online, you've just widened up your scope as well. But if you're not online and you're working in person, if, as she said, if your community has a specific group or updates page, posting in there is absolutely where you should post. So yeah, Facebook and LinkedIn, perhaps. But those are two great spaces for you that I would experiment with. Prince just said online, definitely. Then awesome. So if you're online, I would absolutely go onto those Facebook groups. And the great thing about working with people online is that you're doing it online remotely and you don't even have to worry about where they are, right? So that's the biggest thing, where you just need to find those groups and post in them.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about referral marketing. Can you all still see me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I have lost you all, but that's okay. As long as you can see me and you can hear me. All right, let's talk about referral marketing. Referral marketing, as we said before, this might also be a great tool for you to utilize, Prince. Referral marketing. This is going to be where we're promoting products or services to new customers through referrals, usually word of mouth. Coach Sam often mentions this in our mentorship and sales training, how important this is, and coaches should utilize this. If you don't, whether you're an in-person trainer or not, humans are social creatures, right? And we are happy to purchase something when we are kind of influenced, which is why influencers have kind of taken over this world, is because that's what they're doing. It's all referral marketing. When you see, if you're on social media and you see all these influencers that you follow promoting a product or a service, that's what they're doing. It's referral marketing. They're word of mouth saying, hey, I love this product. I love this service. This has been really great for me. Whether or not they're telling the truth is another thing. But because of that, your marketing channel, like this is not a marketing channel, excuse me, that you should skip out on at all. Because as I have here, right, I think I have it here, word of mouth impressions are going to drive at least 5 times more sales than a paid impression. So if you're over here really stressed out being like, well, I'm paying for these Facebook ads, or I'm paying for this ad on Instagram, and like it's not converting, people aren't seeing it, there's no click-through rates, try out referral marketing. Build in some sort of system, implement it with your current clientele that will refer leads back to you. These will also most likely, probably, honestly, I'm not going to say most likely, these will absolutely be higher value leads than those acquired from other places, right? So like if Coach Sam is training me and I have the absolute best time, and she has a referral system where if I bring someone to her, I get in my next 12-week package that I purchase with her an extra 2 weeks for free, or an extra week for free. If I bring someone to her, that lead is probably going to be a higher value lead because I've created such a great impression on my friend Tom, who's like, well, yeah, like I'm really struggling with this and I need to work with Coach Sam. Hey, Sam, do you have availability for me? Like that is the best lead to get. Like, as I mentioned before, talking about cold, warm, or hot leads, that is a hot lead. So I also have here that word of mouth and referral marketing is probably also the most cost effective, and it is powerful and it is trusted. As I mentioned, social media with influencers, it's powerful. It's working for a reason. It's people's jobs for a reason, is because it converts really, really well, much more than paid marketing or paid impressions. Obviously, there's a place for both of them. And specifically, depending on an industry, it might work, might not. But for personal trainers, correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, referral marketing is incredible,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Because it's results driven. So when people see results and people have good experiences, they're the first to be like, I'm telling everyone. That's what it is.
yeah. So
You have people that are confident in your product and what you can provide, and they had a positive experience with you. Therefore, they're like, I'm telling everyone.
you should absolutely ask your current clients for this. So there's different ways to implement this. I have at the bottom, we have offering free service discounts or upgrades. You can run a referral contest, excuse me, or you can also request, like you actually should request these from your online clients specifically, because as I said, they're so important. So referral marketing programs, really, you're just encouraging these clients that you currently have and rewarding them based on the actions they take on this referral. So specifically when it comes to like e-commerce, like online referral marketing programs, there is some incentivizing needed in order for that to happen. So when the referred customer, let's say, makes a purchase, my friend John makes that purchase and works with Coach Sam, the current customer, myself, would be rewarded with some sort of credit, discount, gift, or other value offered, right? So this leads to happy customers all around, which is why referral marketing works so well. So I don't know if any of you coaches utilize this at all. I'm going to start preaching it as much as Coach Sam does in our mentorship. You should. You really should. So I don't know for many of our online coaches, if you are watching, if you utilize this. If you do or if you don't, let us know in the chat. I'm very curious. I'd love to start a little conversation about that. But referral marketing, check it out. There's different types. Like I said, your question might be, well, how do I like start implementing this, right? Like, how do I introduce this to clients? You just introduce this. If you have current clients, I would encourage, we talk about this too often. I think, did we present on it on the follow-up? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did a webinar all on follow-ups. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. It's on our, wherever you listen to podcasts or on our YouTube page, you'll see it there. But within your follow-ups, you can introduce this referral marketing program that you have. It doesn't have to be as like thorough and thought out as you think. Like, I think when I say program afterwards, I feel like you're introducing a new product or anything. Nope. You're just at the end of an email too. You can say, if you're following up with a client that you're currently working with, maybe you're at like a 6-week mark in your 12-week program, checking in to see how things are. At the bottom, you can introduce, hey, if you're looking forward to re-signing again, I would love to help you out. Here's a way that we can actually get you 2 of those weeks for free. If you know anyone, if you have a friend or anyone, as was it Prince before, anyone in your church group or community that may be looking to start training or has certain goals, refer them to me. And that's a way that we can absolutely do that. I would love to work with them, and I would love to keep working with you. It doesn't have to, like, it's very cut and dry. It doesn't have to be as thought out as maybe, or as strategic as maybe social media marketing has to be, right? That's where Coach Sam was like, we have to plan, we have to schedule. This is a little bit more user-friendly, I feel. So I would encourage everyone to consider this and actually utilize it.
And people want to, don't be shy with referral marketing. I think that's why I like it, is because it does, like you said, Miguel, it's natural. It comes naturally. Like, if you give people an incentive to spread the word of your services, or you give people a positive experience, they're going to want to tell people, right? And something to note about referral marketing. I think a lot of people, get this a little bit mixed up. It should always be happening, right? Whether it's the beginning of your process, starting your business, whether you've had 5 clients and you want 5 more, so you start really like pounding down on referrals, or you have 40 clients and you're trying to get 100, right? No matter where you are in your process, if you speak to the most viral personal trainers out there on social media, they still use referral marketing, right? It is such a powerful tool. And like Miguel said, it's a little bit less strategic. It can just happen naturally, right? People will want to share if you give them a positive experience. One of our mentors here once said, like, this also comes down to just being good at your job. And that is kind of what it is, because if you're good at your job, people are absolutely going to be like, of course I'll refer you. Or if you do run a referral contest and you're a sick ass trainer, why wouldn't they want to, join the contest and go through your referral contest, right? So this does, I love referral marketing because it is so natural and authentic. It doesn't have to be this like pushed, forced thing, because if you're doing your work and you're training people and you're giving them results or helping them get to results, referrals should be there. You're creating them, right? And they should be there.
Yeah. Also, you can utilize referral marketing as not only a way to get referrals to you, but also if you're just needing testimonials, that's something that you can ask for through this idea of referral marketing, incentivizing them, saying, hey, if you don't mind just writing down a little bit about your experience with myself, and we get 1 training session for free or whatever as an incentive, right? But as Sam said, referral marketing is probably one of the most effective tactics that you can use, because new customers gained through that referral marketing process, they already have a pre-established trust in you as a trainer and as a brand, because word of mouth is our main source of like brand discovery or personal trainer discovery or product discovery, right? Like, if Sam and I are on social media, or I just see Sam post something on her story saying like, hey, check out this restaurant, I had a really great time using this, like whatever it is that she's sharing on her story, I'm her friend, I trust her enough that, oh, that's awesome, I'm going to check it out, right? So I'm already coming to that trainer, that brand, that product with trust, because I know that my friend Sam, that I trust so much, loves it. So I already know I'm going to love it, right? So this is where referral marketing has so much potential, because people are just that much more likely to buy something when it's recommended by a friend. And I think when you really think about that and think about most things that you've probably bought in your life, it's because an influencer online that you trust has influenced you, or it was your friend or your mom or your brother or someone close to you that told you, check this out. So referral marketing, really important. Let's move forward to our next little tactic that I'm very excited to talk about, because we had just spoken about this in our sales mentorship, unique selling propositions. So unique selling propositions, there's benefit. There's so much benefit. There's unique benefit, dare I say unique.
Mhm.
There's unique benefit that makes your business or product better than the competition. I had mentioned before, the personal training space is so saturated, right? Especially when you're trying to stand out as a business. If you are a business owner as a personal trainer, there needs to be some sort of clear benefit when comparing yourself to your competitors. So, what is a unique selling proposition? It's a marketing statement that will differentiate your product, your service, your brand from your competitors. Now, leveraging your unique selling proposition, not only are you emphasizing your product, your service, your brand, and differentiating it, you're captivating hearts and minds of potential clients. So, oftentimes, maybe you'll sometimes hear trainers say it's more than fitness. It truly is. And a unique selling proposition is more than fitness. Now we're really thinking about marketing and business. It's about creating connections with clientele, inspiring change, and really unlocking some barriers or questions around your product, your service, your brands. So you should really embrace a unique selling proposition. So you may be asking, okay, I'm still a little confused. What is a unique selling proposition? So if you look to this right here, I believe it's everyone's right, you'll see this little Venn diagram. I have what customers want, what your competitors do well, and what you do well. Right here in this center where all three of these intersect, while this is a really cool space, like who doesn't want to be in the center of the party, right? We actually don't really want to be here. Our unique selling proposition should not be here because this is where we're also touching on our competitors, right? Now, this divide here where what our customers want and what our competitors do well, we also don't want to be here. These are clients that we're losing. And then this space right here, this shared space of what our competitors do well and what we do well, too much similarity, right? But this space right here, this is where we want to live with our unique selling propositions. It's defining what our customers want, what we do exceptionally well that our competitors cannot and don't. That is your unique selling proposition. So
Mm.
defining that for yourself, for your brand, for your company, your product, your service, what have you, that is where it's so important. So I will say, when it comes to personal training, right, there's only so many different ways that we can recycle training and products. And unless you have some sort of cutting edge, trending way of approaching your programming or training, how do you differentiate yourself to make yourself so unique? So I will say that oftentimes the products that you are selling, your services, they're probably not that unique at the end of the day when you really think about it. They're not wholly unique in and of themselves. However, you do have to have a strong, unique selling proposition. And that's where we talk about sales and marketing and why they're so important. So instead, you should be looking for a spot in the market where you can plant your flag, which is right here, this gold star, your unique selling proposition. You are planting your flag there that is untouched by your competition. That is your goal when marketing. So a unique selling proposition is just that. I do want to mention, I had an example. Let me pull it up. While I pull up this example, Coach Sam, anything here about unique selling propositions and differentiating yourself from the market?
No, I mean, I love this, and I'm so like, this is honestly, it's not new to me, but I never focused on this when I was building my business. So it is so great to hear you explaining it and kind of learning a new leveraging tool.
And
And
that's
it's
exactly what it is. It's a
awesome. Yeah.
leveraging tool because um, I don't mean to cut you off, but yeah,
No, no,
like
you're
I
good.
said, our products may not be inherently different, but our positioning and the way we sell them should be.
And that's what it is though. Like that truly is, that's like anything, right? Like there's only so many types of businesses out there. There's only so many types of products out there.
Yeah. So in the chat we have Valerie. She says, "Wow, unique selling propositions. I love the description of this." Absolutely.
Awesome.
Let me maybe pick your brain a little bit further, Valerie, because I have an example. I pulled this example from our presentation that we had with our mentorship students that I shared. I had found this a while back, and I wanted to share it with those students, and I'll share it with you. So when you look at any brand or product that you utilize, go to their site, go to their social media, you will find their unique selling proposition, often in a slogan, right? But if you dive deep into their site, into maybe their about page, you will see very clearly the stance that they're taking. And like Sam just said, oftentimes products are the same across the board, right? Brands are pretty much selling the same things. It's just their positioning that is different. So this is a really great example that I shared. It does not relate to training, but I'm going to bring it back. So stay with me for a moment. A lot of cosmetic companies, right? For both men and women, which I will also preface saying that in personal training, we're also kind of within that cosmetic world, but that's another thing.
Yeah.
But with cosmetic companies, they're often trying to offer quick fixes at very cheap prices for consumers, but these are truly addressing symptoms instead of root causes, right? So that's the cosmetic space, the cosmetic world. There's a company called Beard Brand. Not sure if anyone has heard of it. They provide facial oils and grooming products for men or male presenting people in that cosmetic space. So I went on their site and I had found on their about page, they have a header and it says their product ethos. Ethos is really just their unique selling proposition. They're just calling it this. I'm going to briefly read it and we're going to break it down, but I think it is so cool. So they say, we formulate our products to work with your body's natural chemistry rather than to disguise or change it. Many competing products are formulated to address a man's insecurities rather than helping them embrace their own awesomeness. We think you are awesome, and our products are designed to help you be the man that you want to be. That's their product ethos. So if we break that down for a moment, which is why I think this is so smart, and maybe this is inspiring for some of you trainers here. Beard Brand's unique selling proposition, or their ethos as they call it, immediately sets them apart from the industry standard, which is offering quick fixes at cheap prices, addressing symptoms, finding something wrong with you, saying, hey, let's fix it. They've made it very clear that they say, work with your body's natural chemistry rather than disguising it or changing it. That is so important. So I will say this product ethos means that you not only need to, maybe there's an industry norm in our own industry, right? Because this is what they're doing. If there's an industry norm, make that norm the antagonist, meaning the bad guy, quote unquote, of what you're selling, and position yourself, the strategy that you're offering, that you're confident about, as the customer's problem, but separating yourself from that field. So as I said, looking at this diagram here, they're showing what their customers want, what they do really well, but their competitors aren't doing. And what their competitors aren't doing is showing these guys that they should just embrace their awesomeness. You don't have to change anything about yourself. That's their unique selling proposition. And there's not many people in that cosmetic space who are doing that. So when you think about your own unique selling proposition, if there's an industry norm within our industry of health and wellness, and also kind of in that beauty cosmetic space that maybe you don't align with, and it's not within your own personal fitness theory yourself as a trainer, that's not something you help your clients with, create a clear differentiation. You're unique in that way. That's the whole thing about unique selling propositions. They're unique to you. So hopefully that example of Beard Brand and how they take a step back and really separate themselves from the field, it's really effective. And there are many people who read that, who find these products, this brand, and resonate with that. So if you have a specific niche market, make sure that you're speaking to them, but speak to something that nobody else is, that you do that's uniquely you. Now you may be asking, because we had someone in our mentorship ask, well, how do I find what's unique to me? Like, I think I know what's unique about my services as a trainer and what I offer, but how do I know that? This is where following up with your clients can be a really great tool. In your follow-up with your clients, you can just ask some simple questions of like, hey, why do you enjoy working with me? What is something about the product or the service that I provide that has streamlined the process of getting to your goal? Find out from the people who enjoy working with you. They will immediately tell you what's unique about your program working with you as a trainer. And once you discover what's unique about you, that's where you can start building this unique selling proposition. I can keep going on and on about this, and I did in our mentorship program. So if you're interested, check that out. But this is an incredible way to market yourself and set yourself apart that I don't know if many trainers often think about. And that's okay if you don't think about it. In training to be a personal trainer, not much thought in programs goes into marketing or any of these things. So this might be new to you. And if it is, I hope it's resonated and struck a chord. Valerie says, great example. Absolutely. I think that example is so smart. But that's what it's
I think,
about. It's effective marketing.
yeah, and I think, Miguel, you bring up just a thought that we often talk about here at Fitness Mentors. It's understand your competition. So understand, who's in your niche, but also like who else is targeting your niche. So like whether that's another company or what other trainers, like what are they doing? Understanding all of that is great, but understanding what they're not doing, right, is what could really set you apart. Because that company, what was it called? Mr. What was
Beard
it?
brand. Beard brand.
Beard brand. So Beer Brand not only knew what their competition was doing, they knew what they were not doing. They knew what they were not bringing to the table. So this is huge for any trainer to obviously understand and value awesome things that other trainers are doing. Like I do think we can all learn from each other. That's what it's all about. But I also think learn from what is not being brought to your niche, right? Maybe it's not, oh, you're not doing this. Maybe it's, no, this niche isn't receiving this, right? That's literally why I started my personal business. My niche is military families and spouses. I knew the pain that they go through when people are deployed in their lives. I know the pain that people go through when they feel like they don't have the support. So what are they not being given? Well, they're not being given free access to not only personal training programs, but programs that might help them with their mental health, right? I knew right away. I'm like, what are they not being helped with? What are they not being provided for with, right? And that's where I came in. So I think it's super awesome, Miguel, like such a valuable and awesome point you bring up that I keep giving them a name. I'm calling them Mr. Beard. That's not their name. Beard oil. That beard oil.
Beard brand.
Beer brand.
Beard brand.
Okay, beer brand. That's them. But that's an amazing example, and I think it brings up for you all viewing today, or if you're watching the recording, like jot that down in your journals. Be like, okay, I understand what I can bring to the table. I understand what I want to bring to the table for the niche. I understand what my niche is receiving currently, but what is my niche not receiving? And what is no one else bringing to the table? That's where that's right there, the fork in the road that you're gonna mend, you're gonna bring together. And I love that.
Yeah. And with your unique selling proposition, your USP, this is where you will position yourself as the expert of whatever they're not getting.
Exactly.
And when you put that out there, that's how we'll convert. And this is why this is such a great marketing strategy to leverage, such a great tool. And like I said, it's more than just a slogan. It can be in the form of a slogan, but implementing this on a site, on your socials, in any email that you send, even leading with it, like, hey, it's Miguel, and then inserting your unique selling proposition, if you have like a shorter condensed version of it, is so effective. You are building so much ethos and trust with that statement if you have nailed it down, that it's so effective. So check it out. It's something that's interesting to you. I feel like we could have a whole presentation on unique selling propositions because they're really cool. But as I have here, they are the cornerstone of effective marketing. And through that diagram on the right, you can clearly see how finding a unique selling proposition, positioning yourself directly to your niche, what your customers want, but staying outside of what your competitors do, that's where you're going to thrive. We do have in the chat Q&A, is it safe to say with the plethora of training products and apps, the way in which you connect to our audience would set us apart from one another to a certain degree? Would you agree? Absolutely. The way in which you connect is that actually might be a unique selling proposition that you can take a different perspective. If you are the type of trainer who can offer incredible service and you're flexible, that's something to include in your unique selling proposition, that you're a flexible coach. Because specifically, I think Prince, right? You had mentioned that your niche market, people that you're trying to work with, are stuck. They lack motivation. They're always in a time crunch that prevents them, you said, from fully committing to a fitness routine. positioning yourself as someone who can adjust to that. You're a flexible coach. Specifically, you're working online. So if they have access to you, maybe not 24/7, but 24/5, any day of the week, they can reach out to you and you get back. That's a unique selling proposition because there are coaches out there who are not like that, who can't provide that great service. So absolutely, the way in which you communicate and talk to your clients is so important. Makes you stand out from the rest of the game, what your competitors are doing. And that might be part of your unique selling proposition. So that's something to look into. So absolutely, Prince, you are correct. But yeah, y'all, that was today's presentation. It's been just about an hour, which is awesome. We did that. But thank you so much for joining us. We do just want to mention here, our last topic that we talked about, I did mention, came from our Fitness Mentors sales mentorship and training program that we have here. It's a really fun program that we started a few months back. I've been really enjoying it, creating those presentations, talking to you guys, mentoring you guys through any sales barriers that you're having with your own business. As I have written here, there's materials that you'll get, a sales Bible, as well as the full business and sales course for free is included with this. We have weekly mentorship calls similar to our webinars. However, you're live on them and we are able to work with you live through anything that you're struggling with. It's much more of a conversation, which is wonderful, as well as a private community of all of our trainers where we all support each other as we grow, because we know here at Fitness Mentors how important community is when it comes to growing. I'm sure you also all know that as personal trainers, right? A lot of times that's why people are coming to you, for the accountability, for the trust, and that's what we provide here. But also just the confidence to sell. One of the hardest things about personal training is probably the selling. And I'm sure many of us got into this not because we love sales, it's because we love training. So this is something, it's a muscle that we don't often flex and work. So that's what we do here at our mentorship program. So Coach Sam put that link in the chat. You can absolutely check that out. But we also have our business and sales CEU. This is a course, if anyone's looking for CEUs, you should be at least every single 2 years. It kind of speaks to a lot of what we were talking about today with business and sales and marketing. So if these are things that resonated with you, topics that resonated, feel free to check that out. It is also in the chat. This is really great, y'all. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you in 2 weeks, everyone.
As always, thanks for listening to the Certified Personal Trainer Podcast. You can learn more about Fitness Mentors at fitnessmentors.com. Be sure to share this podcast on social media. And remember, we are here to help you succeed.